Hi guys, welcome back to Origami Twist. Today's video is instructions on how to do a fun stamp masking technique on a piece of origami paper so that you can decorate the top of your Masu box. And I will link to the Masu box in the upper right hand corner of the screen so you can have all the instructions on how to make one. But in the meantime, let's do a bit of stamping. Now for this project, if you want your words to go on the diagonal like this, you're going to hold your origami paper this way. And if you want the words to be straight across and sort of parallel with the edges of the box, you're going to hold your paper this way. And I'll actually do that for today's, and then I'll compare them at the end. By the way, please click like and subscribe and all of that stuff if you enjoy projects like this, because I would love to do a few more stamping type projects that coincide with origami in the future. So please let me know if this is something that you like. Okay, so first things first, we need to put that thinking of you or that main image into the middle. And in stamp masking, essentially what you're going to do is create a blank border around that main stamp and then have a nice interesting background image. But see how part of the circle's actually cut off here and here? That's all intentional, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Okay, so you've got your main words or your main stamp. You just ink it up and try to aim directly for the middle of the paper. So if you're doing a diagonal box, middle of the paper here, and if you're doing a horizontal box, or with the words horizontal, you're going to do the middle of the paper here. And the closer you can get to the middle, the nicer the finished image will look. Okay, so we've got thinking of you put onto our paper. I'm now going to get some Post-it notes or a piece of scrap paper, whatever you've got. If you're using Post-it notes, the adhesive is actually going to attach the paper to your origami paper. If you're using scrap paper, use a repositionable adhesive like Tombow Mono Multi Liquid Glue and just put a tiny dot on the back and let that dry, and then that will allow it to be repositionable and do the same effect. So some sort of repositionable adhesive on the back of your scrap paper, and then making sure you're stamping on top of where that adhesive is, you just get a little bit of ink and give it a little bit of a border and then stamp your main image one more time. We're now going to take that Post-it note and carefully cut around in the shape that you want to have all blank space in. So for example, here I had a nice oval shape, and I'm going to do a similar shape here. It doesn't have to be perfect, especially if you're doing, you know, a general background design. But just keep in mind that whatever shape you cut is the shape that you're going to have with blank space in the middle. Okay, so making sure, again, there's adhesive on the back. You're going to stick that down right on top of the words that you stamped originally. And try to line it up as much as possible, making sure, again, it's right in the middle. Now go ahead and get your stamp block prepared for the next one. And in this particular case, for my background design, I'm actually going to use 3 circle stamps so that it's faster and pretty uniform across the whole page. And if any of you are wondering, I am using the Close to My Heart My Acrylics stamps in C1619. It's called So Many Smiles Occasions. And when you are happy with the setup of your circles or whatever you're using for your background stamp, you're going to ink it up and then stamp the whole page. Now today I'm using Real Red from Stampin' Up. I'm not sure if that's a current color or not. I bought mine a couple years ago. I'll show you what the outside looks like. Real Red Classic Stampin' Pad. Use whatever color ink that you've got. I'm using dye ink. You could use pigment ink. Just keep in mind that as you're stamping, pigment ink takes a little longer to dry, so you don't smear it as you're stamping. Okay, so you ink up your stamp, and then going straight down, you're just going to stamp in a background. and go right over the top of your Post-it note. And straight up and down is your most effective, of course, so that you don't smear it. Now when you get to the edge of the paper, making sure you've got something you can stamp onto off the side, just go right off the edge of the paper. Great, once you've finished stamping the entire background for your page and you've let it completely dry, especially if you're using pigment ink, you're then going to just lift off the paper. And because you used either a Post-it or re-positionable adhesive, you should be able to just peel it right off the top. And there you go. One sheet of origami paper ready to be folded. So I'm going to quickly make up the box and show you how that matters as far as which direction you're holding the stamp, okay? And of course, if you click on that little eye in the upper right-hand corner, there's a link to that box for you, so you can go and check it out. It's also, the link will be in the description box as well. Okay, so there you go. This is the one we just made, and so you'll notice that stamping like this on the diagonal gives you a stamped image that's parallel with the sides of the box. So therefore, if you hold the origami paper like this and stamp across it like this, you'll end up with it on the diagonal. There you go, guys, how to decorate an origami box using stamp masking. I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you back here on Friday with another video. I'm thinking it may actually be Pearl-Ex, though it may take me a little bit longer to film that particular video, so that may be sometime next week, the Pearl-Ex video. I did have a couple of requests for it, and I'll just basically go through what Pearl-Ex is and some different ways to use it as well. So, like I said, that'll either be Friday, and if it takes too long, it'll be sometime next week. All right, take care, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.